Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Arsenal Fan Theory podcast. Sorry, it's been a while. We ran into some technical difficulties, and our life after COVID restarted, and I think we all didn't really notice or realize how busy our social lives actually are. So, sorry that we've been away for a while, but as always, thanks for joining. And Mike, thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure, Bren. It's always good to be here. It wasn't the best of results. I'd also just like that we did at least try to do 2 episodes, but like you said, the technical difficulties, we couldn't even get something out from that. So.
Yeah, well, the one episode there was no audio on the one side, and to be honest, I haven't really had time to check your and the news recording. But I mean, if there is something there, I'll put it out there, before this one or the same time. At least it's content we push out. And hopefully it was a good chat, sorry. Like I said, I haven't really watched it. I haven't had time to edit it. So let's see how that one goes. But this one will definitely be on. Well, let's not say definitely, but this one will be on before the next Liverpool game. And yeah, hopefully after that, we'll fall into a bit more of a routine as we get used to life after lockdown. To think, the relaxing of the rules have definitely affected us. You're quite a sporty guy, so you play a lot of cricket during the week. I'm also starting up again, and obviously work and stuff like that. Going back to the office again doesn't interfere with our recording time. So hopefully we can, in the near future, start doing this a bit more full time.
Yeah, well, like you said, Bren, life after lockdown did get a bit busy. And what makes it probably the most difficult is that we all don't live on the same schedule, a lot of time open, you and Renier will be busy. And if that's not the case, then I'll be busy playing cricket when you guys are open in the evenings. Yeah.
Right. So before we jump into the Liverpool match, right, just check down below. There's a banner going. Go check out our social media pages. It is at Arsenal Fan Theory for Instagram, at Theory Arsenal for Twitter, and at Arsenal Fan Theory on Facebook. Please go give us a like, subscribe, comment how we can improve. We love to see some interaction on those pages. Okay, Mike. Like I said, we haven't really talked in a while. Season didn't start off too badly. 3 victories in a row. I think only proper performance we saw was against Fulham. West Ham was a very cagey affair, and I think we played a very changed Leicester side. And yes, we dominated for large periods, but it wasn't a convincing performance. So, but we went into this game with quite a bit of hope.
Yeah, we did definitely, Bren. I was definitely one of those fans who got a little bit too optimistic because it has been good to be an Arsenal fan in recent days. In the episode me and Renier tried to do, said the same thing. It's been quite a few years since you can say as an Arsenal fan that it's good to be an Arsenal fan, because it's the first time I know in a long, long while that I can see like a progress in the team. I can see a philosophy in the team. I can see Arteta's doing good things with the players that he has, and obviously he has a clear vision of the players that he wants and the way he wants to play, and obviously what he wants to achieve with the club as well. He was obviously a big part in our signing the thing, and probably a lot of like getting Dennis Ceballos back. He also said it because of him, and I think going forward it would be a lot of players are going to be impressed by Arteta. But yeah, I was quite optimistic about last night. I knew it was never going to be easy or pretty, to be honest with you, but I thought we might be able to grind out the victory as well, the way the season has started so far.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie. I also was a bit optimistic, especially seeing how the last 2 results went in our favor. Liverpool haven't really hit full throttle this season yet, well, until last night. I think this was by far their best performance I've seen from them quite a while. It maybe just showed that they needed, just the Premier League's back and they're back rolling. I don't I told Renir as well in one of our failed episodes that it seemed like the wheels actually came off Liverpool for a while. I wasn't quite sure if they would be able to retain the title, but it seemed like a few weeks in the Premier League, the signing of someone like Jota and Thiago has really reinvigorated their team. And it looks like be more of the same for Liverpool. They still haven't lost in over 60 games at home, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't. Oh, sorry, Bren. I don't think we played too badly last night. But like you said, I think it was a really good Liverpool performance. Now, I just have to throw out a quick shout out. Sadio Mane, that guy is a player. Yeah, he had such a good game. He makes it look so easy. There's been a lot of talk around who's the best player in the Premier League, and I know Cesc Fabregas backs him. Uh, I haven't watched Mane too much in detail, but the way he played last night, it was an absolutely brilliant performance. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't too bad from us either.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few people that think he's quite lucky to be on the field for the full 90 minutes because he did have that elbow into Tierney's face. And was quite interesting for me was not the fact that he did got away with it. It's just the way it's been brushed aside. It hasn't been spoken about in the post-match interviews. I haven't really seen any news on Sky Sports News going into a bit more detail. It's just accepted as well. It is what it is. But there's nothing we can do about that now. If everything in retrospect, I'm sure we'll have a few more talking points that could have seen the game gone very differently. If a few things happened differently on the night. But first of all, I just want to ask you: were you surprised by the team? Elneny inclusion, I think, was the major and the only real shock for me.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with you, Bren. I would have liked to see Pepe start, but I expected that William would be in the starting lineup. And other than that, I wasn't too surprised to see Luis, but I was surprised to see Gabriel being dropped to the bench, because he had two good games so far. Maybe it's just he wants to be eased into the Premier League, and Arteta knows what kind of intensity Liverpool press with. You just need to get used to the intensity of the Premier League before there's such a big matchup against Liverpool. I don't know. Maybe that's
I think one of the theories that I've heard is Arteta wanted to take him out of the firing line because a big game like this, a few big mistakes really dents a player's confidence, especially a young player new in the league. So I think what Arteta tried to do is just take him out of the firing line, so just for in case something bad happens. But on the other edge of the sword, if he had a great performance, it would have done his confidence world of good. But I understand the sense in that. Understand why he put old guard Louise back in defense. But yeah, I also can't say I'm not that surprised with the Elneny inclusion, but I think we saw quite clearly what we missed once Tobias was on the field.
Yeah. Well, Sabas only played 30 minutes. I read a stat today. In the 30 minutes, he created three chances. That's more than the rest of the Arsenal team combined. So he was definitely that creative player that we were missing in the midfield, and that's obviously why we in the transfer market for such a type of midfielder to link defense into attack. And you can see we were missing it, especially against such a quality side like.
Yeah. Um, I also want to just touch on the Lacazette incident. Well, not incident, a few incidents he had. Obviously, again, 3 games, 3 goals in the Premier League. Arsenal's current top scorer, but also obviously missed that crucial opportunity when Tobias came on and put him through when it was still 2-1 to Liverpool. And that might have made the game look very differently. But that being said, I think yes, Lacazette hasn't been performing recently. He hasn't been playing very well, but it's any other striker in the league. He scores 3 games in a row. I don't think you would have seen, the amounts of hate or criticism or, I don't know, just the the abuse Lacazette's getting for his performances. If it was any other player that scores three games in a row, I don't think we would see that.
Yeah, well, Bren, I don't even think it's just like a Z. I think it's the whole Arsenal squad at the moment. I've been seeing a lot of things about Aubameyang as well. I just think it's people can sense the optimism around the whole club and the fan base, and that we actually feel that we're moving forward. That always gives rival fans an opportunity to try and bring you down and to try and piss you off, basically. Just things like that. But yeah, going back to Laka's incident, I don't think it was that bad. Obviously, I did expect him to put it away because, in my opinion, he's a really, really good finisher, and he is a good enough striker for the team. But by the time he actually took the shot, he made the angle so difficult for himself. It was always going to be difficult to score from there. And like you said, he's 3 goals from 3 games. If he can keep on, if he can keep on by that rate, he'll end up the Premier League with 38 goals. Nothing to complain about.
Yeah, so Mark, I know we're going a bit back and forth, but I just want to say something on you taking that rival fans want to bring it down. The thing that pisses me off is there's a lot of Arsenal fans attacking players like Leno, Pepe, Lacazette. Yeah, it's just frustrating being on like Twitter and being on Instagram and seeing people bash our own players, even when they've scored or contributed or they have done nothing wrong to deserve the criticism. In any case, let's move on. I also agree that Lacazette made it a bit more difficult for himself going wide and just smashing it. But I think it was in his head. The previous chance that he was offside, he tried to chip Allison, and that also didn't come off. It was actually a bit embarrassing, I think, for Lacazette because he chucked it straight in his hands. So I think that also might have played on his mind when he had the opportunity again.
Yeah, well, there's also an argument to be had about did he know that he was offside, so that's why I took the previous one so easily. And about the second shot, I think he just overthought it. I think he thought he was probably going to surprise Allison by taking the extra touch and finishing. And well, like I said earlier, he made the ankle too difficult. It was very difficult to score at there.
Oh. Mike, other than that, were there any other standout performers, maybe someone that impressed you, or even maybe that someone you think, his chances of playing the next match, the next Premier League game has been diminished because of their performances on the night? Is there any particular player you want to single out?
Well, probably the 2 standout players for me, Bren, would be Robbo. I don't think he had a bad game at all. He had a few mistakes, as he normally does, actually, but overall, I think he had a really good game and he did his defensive duties quite well. And obviously, like we said earlier, Sabas, I think he was our best player as soon as he came on the pitch.
Yeah, well, I also agree with you. I think people have also been saying Rob Holding didn't have the best game, but look at his defensive contributions. I think he was really solid, and it's very difficult to pass from the back. Excuse me, if there's so much pressure, the Liverpool pressing is so organized. It's so high. It's so high paced. I think you are bound to make a mistake here and there. So I also think Holding had a good game, and I think he's proving that he can be a key part of this team going forward. And then I just want to single out someone in Willian. I think the fans were quite excited when he had his debut, had 3 assists, and since then, he's not been involved in any of the other games. I think he's been very anonymous, and it's quite unfortunate Pepe didn't take his opportunity because I think if Pepe just shows a bit of fight, the starting berth is there for the taking.
Oh, well, Brent, I think Pepe's going to get the chance again this weekend, but I think he's going to get the chance to start. And like you said, hopefully he takes it. Hopefully this could be the start of a fire that he just has an absolute breakout season. They call the second season normally the make or break one. And when he went to France, his first season he had 18 goal contributions. Next one he doubled that to 36. That's his second season now. Last season for Arsenal had 18 goal contributions.
Mm.
There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to improve as much. And William brought in extra competition for him, so he should know that he has to play well to play matches often. Hopefully.
Yeah, let's look at the next match, because it's not every day where you play Liverpool or a team and 4 days later face them again. I think there's going to be quite a few changes. I also think Liverpool side is going to look very different. But I believe Arteta is going to send out a stronger team of the two. I think Liverpool and Klopp might send out a bit younger team. But I think our team is going to be looking very similar to the team that beat Leicester last week.
Yeah, well, I expect more or less the same as the Leicester match as well, Bren. But that is still quite the rotation. I think Gabriel might play this game, or we might see the first of Saliba actually starting for us now. Yeah, but other than that, I think it would be more or less the same than the Leicester game.
And a few key players that might put up their hands and say they are in contention for starting the game on the weekend, Sunday. There's obviously players like we already mentioned, Pepe. I think there's a case for Pepe, to put his hand up and put himself in contention, and as well Saka. I think the only reason Saka didn't play this game is that Arteta wanted a bit of defensive stability, and that's why he went with Maitland now.
Yeah, well, just going to Maitland now, I think he had a really good game defensively, and he was running forward, he was looking to create, but he's starting well. On the night, he looked like Oli Wobi. He has got all the talent, he can go forward, but that final ball or that final move was just completely lacking. A few times to me, it just looked. Well, he was looking up for the pass, he was looking for the through ball or the cross or whatever, and it just looked like he just kicked it into a Liverpool player just because he had nothing to do. So we were definitely missing Saka in the attack, I think. Maitland-Niles did play very well defensively.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually an interesting thing to look at. As soon as we actually try to enforce a bit of our style of play on Liverpool, we definitely looked like a much more dangerous team, and it looked like we were capable of scoring. In the first half, we sat back a lot. We tried to spring the counter attack, and we didn't really look that dangerous. Yes, we got the one goal, but like you said, Maitland-Niles, that was actually a very bad cross into the box that found the knee of Robertson and luckily fell to Lacazette. So yeah, I understand what Arteta's trying to do in trying to build this defensive, build up the defense first before, going on the attack. But in some games like this where Liverpool press high, City's going to do it as well. Some of the bigger teams, there might be a lot of space in behind, and it might actually benefit us if we are a bit more aggressive and are a bit more attacking in these bigger games.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, Brendan, but it's obviously very easy for us to sit here after the game and say things like that. Overall, I think I can speak for both of us that we really like Arteta as a manager and do trust the process. And I'm sure that's going to be the type of football that we will come to see from his Arsenal side. When it's after probably another 2 transfer windows, when it's a lot more east side type of players he wants, he can play the type of football he wants. But yeah, I definitely think we're going to see a lot of progress. I hope we get into Champions League this season, but I think next season is really going to be where Arteta starts hitting his stride as a manager.
Yeah, well, like you said, I think both of us support him a lot, and I think we've already seen a lot of improvement. Otherwise, we might not have been this down after the Liverpool performance, because we wouldn't have any expectation of actually being in the game. So that's already, we've gone a long way to take last season. Back to the Carabao Cup game. on Thursday. Do you think we'll see the first of what's his name, Runnerson, or something like that?
Runnerson or
Yeah,
something
X
like that.
running. It's the most running Runnerson name football, and he's a goalkeeper. He doesn't do any running at all. Do you think we might see a first start for him?
I don't know. I think it's a difficult one to call, Bren, because I think normally we would probably see the first of him in this type of game. But because it's Liverpool, I think Arteta is going to want to go back to Anfield and win there. So I think he's gonna probably play a strong side like them. So
Yeah.
we haven't seen any of that. We don't know what to expect. So I think he might probably stick with it.
Yeah, well, I also hope Bernd Leno, I think he's been doing just fine. Yes, he's not been as assertive, but I don't think as bad as a lot of fans, Arsenal fans particularly, has been making him out. Yes, Martinez has been having a great run at Aston Villa, but we have to make peace with what happened, and we have to stick behind and get behind Leno. So if Leno plays, I think we're in safe hands at the end of the day. All right. What are your score predictions for the second clash against Liverpool?
Well, Brendan, I'm going to go with the 3-2. But to be honest, it could go either way. I can see Liverpool scoring the winner or Arsenal, but no, I'm going to stick with my team, so I'll go in Arsenal's way.
I'm gonna take, look at last year's counter or clash against Liverpool, and that was a 5-5. So I'm gonna go with a 4-3 result. Fortunately, I think it's gonna go to Liverpool. I think we're gonna see players like Diego Jota. Um, you know, Origi loves scoring in cup games, even though he's not that prolific. He loves scoring in cup games, and they've got a lot of players like Milner. I don't know if Oxlade-Chamberlain is currently injured or what, but they've got players like that. The reserves, a lot of players that might even make the starting lineup at Arsenal at the moment. So I think they might just have a little too much for us. But I think it's going to be an entertaining result or game.
Oh, well, Arsenal Liverpool never seem to disappoint, Brent. It's always at least a scoring game for one side. um, but yeah, I think it would actually be quite interesting to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but with Arteta, he always gives us some sort of surprise in his starting lineup. If he would actually play Gabriel and Saliba together, actually try out a back four with him, because I think that's obviously the future. This is probably again experiments a little bit.
Like we've mentioned, I think we talked about this in a bit of detail in our first episode of this season. Is that I think he'll start playing a bit more with the back four as soon as if or when we sign one or both of Partey and Awar. I just don't see the midfield, especially with Ozil not, being part of the plans. I just don't see where the midfield options come from. Even though I would like to see Pepe in a attacking midfield role, but it doesn't seem like Arteta wants to play either him or Willian, in the midfield at the moment. So, but there's always hope for that. Right, talking about transfers, it looks like Awar is getting a bit closer. It looks like Lyon are signing a replacement or close to signing a replacement. I think it's Roma or AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken. So that might be a bit of good news because there's only, as it is today, 6 days to go of the transfer window.
Well, apparently they also gave Arsenal a transfer deadline on Friday. If that's the truth, whatever's going to happen will probably happen quite quick, and quicker the better, in my opinion, because I think he's probably the player that we need right now. I think if you ask most Arsenal fans about 3 weeks, a month ago, who would they rather get? Probably more then half would lean towards Partey, but I think it's obviously swung around the other way now because you need that creative play in the midfield. Even though Dennis Abbas did have a few occasions that he could, yeah.
Yeah, well, the problem with Danny is he's also still not a permanent Arsenal player. So um, even as much as I like him, flourishing in that midfield, I think it was just going to make it much more difficult to sign him in a permanent transfer next year if he does have an excellent season, because he'll have much more suitors, and you never know. Maybe Real Madrid turn around and decide to actually keep him if he does, have like a breakout season this year.
Oh, well, if things go like it did last season, hopefully he'll go straight back to Madrid and say, I want to go back to Arsenal. If he has if he has the same season then he did post lockdown, then I'll be all for it, And if he doesn't come back, at least he did fill in the gap for 2 seasons, and we could maybe, because the squad's starting to get a lot more rounded, a lot more balance in the squad. So then we could actually splash the cash on probably another.
Yeah, well, let's hope for the best. And obviously, the early signs are that Bios is going to have another solid season. I think his first few performances have been more on par with what he's done after lockdown than the player he was before lockdown. So I think it's just good things to come. Mike, are there anything? Sorry, it's been a while. So is there anything I might have missed? I didn't really prepare for this. It's been quite busy. Something you want to talk about regarding the two Liverpool clashes?
Well, not really, Brain. Sorry about that. I just forgot to say that the reason why I also gave Arsenal 3-2 is because it would probably be quite the Arsenal thing to do to go and win the game. That if all the fans or anyone had a choice, we'd probably be okay to lose this Carabao Cup clash and win the Premier League match.
Now that's true. We are starting to become a bit of a cup team. It looks like our cup performances are on the up. So, and I know this is a cup that Arteta likes winning because they've won it twice when he was at Man City, assistant coach. So that that might put odds in Arsenal's favour. But Mike, we're going to try to do another episode this week on Friday after the Liverpool game and before the Sheffield United, if I'm not mistaken, game on Sunday. But as we've already mentioned, that it's a bit difficult at the moment to schedule things out until we find a structure or proper schedule where all of us are accommodated. The episodes might come in few and far in between. So if we can't make that episode, what are your score predictions for the Sheffield game?
Well, I expect the team to come back out fighting. I expect Gabriel back. I expect Pepe back. Sabas will obviously start in the midfield again, I think. And I think we're going to play well. I don't think it's going to be as comfortable as we would like. So I'll probably go for 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-0 Arsenal. I don't think Sheffield has come out, started the season as brightly as they did last season. They're definitely there for the taking. I think the confidence is quite low. And yeah, I think Arsenal will bounce back off the Liverpool result quite quickly. I think Arteta is instilling a strong mentality in the team, and I think we'll see, the best of that, come this weekend.
Oh, well, obviously the next few weeks are going to be quite selling in if the mentality is starting to run through the squad because obviously we just lost to Liverpool. We're playing them again, and we've got quite a few big games up and coming as well. If I saw a run like this last season under Unai Emery, I would probably get next to nothing points. But for now, I don't know what's going to happen. So let's see what Arteta has brought to the club so far and what's taking.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. As always, thanks for joining, Mike. I hope those of you that did bear with us until here, you enjoyed the watch. Please, like I said, leave a comment. If you want to be part of the show, want to appear in one of our episodes, please reach out to us, especially on our Instagram page. Well, Instagram or Twitter, we're the most active on there. So we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.